We stand on the threshold of a new age.
This anime literally inspired me to buy 5 games for 20 bucks though. And all it took was 1 episode. I remember seeing gameplay for parts 3, 4, and 5 and the remake or reboot, but the franchise completely missed my field of view. I just forgot it existed. I am now playing the HD remasters, but with my limited interaction with the franchise, I decided to review this title before I finished these games and watched the other anime that came out in 2008. So I've watched this show, but I'm also playing through the games. You can catch them on stream at my Twitch there. But I will be talking about the games as I complete them. I'll talk about the anime once I complete it, the original anime. And for now, though, we're going to focus on the 2025 Netflix adaptation of Devil May Cry. So, as I said before, this is Netflix's adaptation of all those games. And I'm going to have to add the word loose very much in there. It follows Dante as he's hunted by a paramilitary organization and Lady, as well as his bit in hunting demons. And they definitely took some creative liberties with the character and the world that even I can see as someone who hasn't played much. They added a lot of political spy stuff in here and included some super religious vice president. There's more explanations into hell, government, like I said, a paramilitary government called Darkom, and there's even a brand new villain. As far as I'm aware, it's a brand new villain. I'm going to have to address the angry fan base here. So far, this anime has split a lot of opinions down the middle. From what it sounds like though, a majority of the population, whether they're new to the franchise or seasoned veterans, acknowledge that they're having fun with the series while knowing there's a lot of material in here that doesn't work or just feels out of place. And yes, there are many fans calling it hot trash. But so far, it looks like it's making its mark. It's already been cleared for another season, so we'll see what it has to offer. Just to make it clear, I am not a hardcore DMC fan. Clearly. I have 2 hours of the first game under my belt, along with some clips I've watched to kind of familiarize myself with the show. But there's a lot to talk about. Dead honest here, this anime was awesome. The Limp Bizkit intro legit hyped me up. In fact, the entire soundtrack was filled with 90s and 2000s new metal nostalgia. Butterfly by Crazy Town, Papa Roach, the aforementioned Limp Bizkit, doing Rollin' Air Raid was perfect. The action is freaking visceral. All the motion is super fluid, and I can tell someone on the writing and editing team knows action sequences. The ebb and the flow of it all is perfect. And I've watched a lot of action, and specifically a lot of anime action, and I have to say I am very impressed here. I mean, I was up out of my seat cheering at some of it. There's a very specific scene that in my head that I think I actually started smiling. I mean, a lot of them made me do that, but specifically, it was the bike chase scene. It's bloody, it's violent, and it is pure entertainment, and it is pure adrenaline. Now, let's get into territory that might be a bit controversial, but I'll try to address it the best I can. The characters. Dante himself, portrayed here, is a bit more, I guess, cheeky and a bit more Deadpool than the video games. At least that's what it seems like.
Ripped and irresistible dreamboat, I know. You still can't just tear a guy's clothes off.
And I can acknowledge that from the bit I've played, yes, he is a little bit snarky, and it seems to be throughout the franchise he does get moments of like comedy and a little bit of levity, but he's not Deadpool, which is kind of where his character is. If I had to put him on a scale, this is where I'd put him at. But you know what? I kind of liked it. In fact, it's the first thing I noticed I really liked about it. I don't know, he seems like a cool dude. I want to hang out with him. It's, like I said, it's a slight departure from himself in the games. It does crack a lot more jokes, a lot more playful, but like I said, I really enjoyed his presence and him as a character. Other side characters like Enzo were really fun. Sometimes the silly, short, fat comedic relief doesn't work, but I feel like him and Dante have really good chemistry. A lot of the other side characters, the designs are pretty cool, but they just don't get a lot to do in the little 8-episode runtime that this show has. There's just not enough for me to get invested with everybody, and I feel like the show's asking me to get invested with some of these side characters, like the Dr. Scientist, for example, and Lady's teammates, but I just feel like they didn't get a lot to do. And now we have to talk about what I feel like doesn't work the best, and that's Lady. Let's just say, yes, not everybody is happy about her as a character in here. For me, I kind of see where everyone is coming from. She swears a lot, she's very vulgar, and it's not that she says necessarily the F word a lot. It's the fact that it's the same usage of the F word. There's not much variety, and she says it so often that it kind of loses its meaning and its weight. Weird thing about swearing, I know. And I don't know, I think it's way too much. And you know what? There is a point where it does kind of become her show, which is fine, except we only get 8 episodes in here. And I just feel like they overcooked her character like a lot. That being said, I want to see her grow moving forward. I didn't really like her for the first half of it, for the first 80% of it. But I'd say the second to last and the last episode kind of turn her character around a little bit more. The White Rabbit is a new villain from what I can see, and offers a nice bit of dimension to the world of Devil May Cry, especially with what they're doing with the concept of hell. That being that, yes, hell is this dimension, and there's civilians there as well. And the ruler from there is also screwing with them, and there's this whole storyline of refugees, and I can see what they're going for. I can see it. But it's something of a double-edged sword. It's the story of assuming all people from one place are bad because a couple of them are bad. And I've seen it done, and it's a compelling story, and I think it's a political talking point about immigration, about racism, and again, I see what they're doing. We can look at other pieces of media that have done this. I think Arcane did it really well. Arcane is a pretty shining example about how to showcase this, in my opinion. However, Arcane is its own thing, separate from League of Legends. And League of Legends itself, if you really just play the game, you don't embrace yourself in the lore, and you can forget about this kind of stuff. Devil May Cry has a lot of deep lore associated with it, because again, it's a story-driven game. So when they add this layer of politics and political commentary, it's just not in the mainline games. It is barely touched on. I don't think the government is even mentioned at all in the games for what I'm seeing. And overall, trying to put all this political talk in here is kind of ham-fisted, and it really feels like the show is trying to shove it down our throats, and it does get a little preachy and uncomfortable. Again, the purpose of crafting it and putting it in here was to make an engaging story and an engaging villain. I can see that, and again, it's a double-edged sword. It works, but it doesn't. I think people have the same opinion as me, in which Devil May Cry, you can mess with the idea of politics, but we mostly like our demon-slaying adventure free of that kind of stuff, especially when it's so in your face. There's quite a lot to say for just 8 episodes, but as a whole, DMC 2025 is so much freaking fun to watch. Again, got me to play all the games, sweat over boss fights, and hurt myself physically and mentally over and over trying to figure out how to beat them. Oh my gosh. Oh, he got me. I didn't make it. Come on, do it. Ah, what? I got him! Oh my god, I got him! Definitely, it's awesome. I say whether you've watched it or not, I say whether you've played the games or not, you're gonna have fun with this one. I definitely did. You know what? There might be a Dante cosplay in the future for me, maybe. Maybe not. I don't look as cool as Dante does. Let me know what you guys think. Comment below. Let me know if you guys have watched it. What is your favorite Devil May Cry game? With that being said, guys, Please make sure to like and subscribe. Subscribe to my Twitch where you can watch me play Devil May Cry. And I'll see you in the next one.